All right, guys, welcome back to another Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. It is Monday, September 20th. It's going so fast I can barely say it, but let's jump right back into it. Guys, we've got a cool event coming to Victoria, something that doesn't often come through here that I want to talk about a little bit, the Motorcycle Cannonball Endurance Run. They are going to be stopping in Victoria Friday, September 24th, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. This event is held every 2 years, not every 2 hours. That would be really quick. Held every 2 years, the Motorcycle Cannonball Run is the ultimate coast-to-coast endurance test for antique motorcycles. For the first time, the event will be a north to south route across the United States, starting near the Canadian border on September 9th and ending in South Padre Island on September 26th. Victoria is honored and excited to be hosting all of the participants for a fun evening stop at the Victoria Mall next to the former Sears storefront on Friday, September 24th. Again, the public is invited to come out and see the over 100 impressive vintage motorcycles and meet the riders. This is a cool deal. The Victoria Duck Safari will be out there as well, passing out water and soda and selling water and soda. This is a cool event. The Motorcycle Cannonball Run never follows the same route twice, so this will be your one chance to see these incredible motorcycles. Come out to Victoria Mall, support the community, support these riders. This is a great deal. Steve Klein's been helping out with this thing, Bobby Spartman and a whole bunch of other people. It's been a great event. Again, Friday, September 24th, Motorcycle Cannonball Endurance Run, stopping right here in Victoria. And so go check that out. Now, my friend, we've got a guest. I don't think we've had him on the event show before, but you've seen him around the community. He's a great guy. My brother, if you wouldn't mind, introduce yourself and who you're here with.
Absolutely. Thank you, Caleb. My name is Daniel Barrientos, and I'm with Cattan Recovery Outreach, and I'm the executive director there.
Roger that. So for somebody that may be new to Victoria or doesn't know much about Billy T. Cattan Center, can you tell me a little bit about it and what you guys do and what your mission is?
Absolutely. So our organization has been around for a little over 20 years now. It started as a very grassroots organization back in '99. It was actually a one-man show back then, and they were offering counseling for those who were affected with substance use disorders. And now, we've grown to a bigger organization. We're able to serve more people in Victoria, but we still do substance abuse counseling, but we also do co-occurring disorders as well.
Gotcha. And I think the way I met you many years ago was through the Dancing with the Stars Victoria edition, and which was another great thing that you guys did in the community, and put me up there on a stage, and I had to pretend like I could dance. Luckily, Allison, again, thank you for saving my rear end up there. You made me look good and kept me from tripping over myself, so thank you. But that was a fun event where we first met, and
thank you.
And that's kind of one of the things that you all do is different fundraisers in the community. You try to make it fun, but
absolutely,
your organization, you guys need donations and volunteers. Am I correct?
That is correct. We did Dancing with the Stars, and I think this was our 8th one that we did a couple of years ago, and of course that kind of stopped because of COVID. But hopefully we'll bring it back one day here pretty soon in the future. But yeah, so we do that fundraiser because we are a state-funded organization, and so the state doesn't reimburse us for what it costs us to provide our treatment services. And so fundraising, donations, all that type of help keeps our doors open. So it's very important.
Got you, roger that. And you guys do have an event coming up this week as well on September 25th. Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Well, this event is not a fundraiser.
Okay.
It's a free event. It's actually recognizing in National Recovery Month. And it's in its 32nd year. And so what National Recovery Month is about is bringing light to those who are affected with substance abuse and mental health disorders. And so for several years, we've been talking about having an event, that will be free for Victoria, free for people to come and attend. And so we finally decided to go ahead and do it. It is an outside event, and so that'll to make people feel a little bit more comfortable. With the COVID being around, we are going to space everything out and stuff. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great event. We just want as many people to come. You don't have to be in recovery to come. Mm-hmm. It really takes a whole community to support recovery. And so that's kind of the message that we want to bring out there. We want to reduce stigma because stigma is huge. It keeps a lot of people from getting help. And, we say if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Roger that. So this is a celebration of recovery and really an opportunity to lift each other up and just have a warm environment of celebration.
Absolutely.
And I like that you're attacking that stigma on it, because I think a lot of the times that's the hardest first step is, what are people going to think about me?
Right.
We worry so much about what others are going to think of us that it's often hard to do that. And this is a cool deal that offers, this is a warm environment. It's a positive, uplifting environment, and you're celebrating recovery.
Absolutely.
And so what can we do as the public to support you guys' mission and be a part of things to help out and make sure you guys have what you need?
I think just attending. Attending is definitely the support that we're looking for. We are going to have 10 other nonprofits that are going to be participating with us, and they're going to have a table there offering information about their services. There'll be some giveaways that they'll be giving, some games for the kids, so kids are invited to this event as well. We're going to have free food, drinks, door prizes, things of that nature. So HEB and Walmart has been very gracious, and they've donated some of the items. But if I would say we needed any other items, I would say those types of things. We're going to do hot dogs, water, chips. So, water is one that we're looking for. We need some more water to be out there because we'll probably know it's going to be hot.
Yeah,
right?
it's a little bit warm out there. Yes, sir.
So we can definitely use the water. If anybody wanted to donate a case of water or something like that, that would be wonderful.
Gotcha. And how can everybody reach you guys? Your Facebook page active? You watch and follow that? Can they reach out there, the website, or both?
They can do both, or they can just call. I mean, our website is pretty, our Facebook page is pretty active. We post a lot of stuff on there, and it's Billy T. Cattan Recovery Outreach. And then our phone number is 361-576-4673. So they can reach us that way as well. Good
deal. Well, we are very grateful for what you guys do in the community, and I see you out there, and it's always fun to run into you. And I like to, in the past with these different events that you've put on, you've found ways to pull people in from the community and make them a part and make it a fun event for the community while you're raising funds and doing all that.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that to this day, that was one of the most out of my comfort zone things I've ever done in my whole life was, because they've heard me say it 100 times, I've got 2 left feet, no rhythm, and I'm overly white. And so to do a dancing contest out there in front of everybody, that was a lot for me, a whole lot. And
well, you did awesome. I have to say, everybody that's participated since I've been there since 2014, I've always said the same thing, like kind of what you said. And everybody always ends up having a really good time. Like you said, it's a fun event. People come out, check it out, and we make it fun.
No, it was fun. I'm still bitter, I'll be honest. Dr. Yahagi smoking us out there. I was, it's not often a 50-plus-year-old gentleman takes off his shirt and dusts you on the stage like he did me.
Right.
And so I'm still bitter about that in the most positive of ways. I love him, and if I had to lose to anybody, he's a good one to lose to. But I'm still a sore loser, But no, we had a ton of fun. And again, thank you for what you guys do in the community. One more time, it is September 25th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at where?
At our office. It's on 802 East Crestwood, and it'll be in our parking lot.
Good deal.
So we have a good enough space there for everybody to come out and have a good time. And one other thing that I'd like to mention about it is that we're also going to have a couple of people that are in recovery, that have been in long-term recovery, that are going to open up the event and tell about their story and how important it was to get the help that they needed.
So you can hear the victory of others and the success of others and know that you're not alone in this struggle.
Correct.
Roger that. Well, my friend, thank you again so much. I appreciate you coming on. Guys, we'll take a quick word from our sponsor. We'll be right back with our next guest. All right, guys, welcome back. We've got a really special segment right now that we're going to extend across 2 segments, actually, that I'm excited for. For myself, this is the first time to get for myself, let's say that again. This is my first opportunity to get to meet the chief of police here in Victoria. It's a really exciting time because these changes don't often come in a community, and when they do, it's really important that we as a community embrace our leadership and make sure they know who we are so they can better serve our communities. And so I'm excited to get to talk to the chief a little bit and find out a little bit about his background and then some upcoming events that they have coming. So without further ado, and since I'm having such a hard time talking today, I'm going to let the police chief introduce himself, and we'll take it from there. So, my friend, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Caleb. Yeah, my name is Robert Arredondo. I'm the chief of police here in Victoria. I've been here since November 30th, so I'm working on almost 10 months, and it's been a fantastic, fast-paced, drinking from a fire hose type 10 months, but I wouldn't have traded for anything. I've really enjoyed myself. We have such a great community of service and support that I'm very thrilled and lucky to be here.
Thank you. For those that don't know you, what's a little bit about your background? How long have you been in law enforcement? Where are you from, et cetera?
Well, I'm working on my 26th year in law enforcement. I started with the Dallas Police Department in 1996. Before that, I was in the U.S. Army, where I was stationed in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, and then I ended in Fort Hood, Texas. And from there, I went straight into the Dallas Police Department, where I trained in their police academy. And golly, if I told you everywhere I stopped inside the Dallas Police Department, we'd be here a while. But the few areas that I'm very proud of was I served in the gang unit, which was street enforcement, which taught me a lot. Really showed me how much we could do for our youth if we just engaged them. So I was very proud of that stop. From there, I went back to patrol and spent some time as a patrol officer in downtown Dallas, which gives me a good feeling for the business community and how important the crime rate is to our business community. Also, I went from there, I became a detective. I became a missing persons detective. I worked a case where a young SMU girl was missing, and I knew something was wrong. I knew it was not a good situation, and it led me to the homicide unit, where I was a homicide detective, and even at one time featured on the first 48 back in like 2006 maybe. From there, I promoted up through the ranks to basically visited many more of those same locations that those same units I had worked in, but initially, or ending up as a major and division commander of the Northeast Patrol Division, where it was 88 square miles, a population of 300,000, and I had almost 400 officers in a 24-hour operation. So I was running a small police department within a very large city. And then the opportunity came up to come to Victoria, and it's been fun ever since.
I would imagine you said a small police department within a big one of 400. How big is Victoria Police Department?
Victoria has 168 employees. 130 of those are sworn police officers.
So that's an even small, so 400 was a small one
Right.
to you guys, and so this is even smaller. What has been some of the differences that you've noticed of coming from a much larger community to a community like Victoria?
Well, policing in a smaller community is more personal, and you get to know people. What I've really truly enjoyed about our police department is I get to know these officers personally. I get to know the employees personally, their families. I can do my very best to remember everybody's name and ask them about their weekend and things. And when you're in a police department of they've fluctuated 3,200 officers, you don't get that every day. And the pace was so fast and vicious in Dallas that we couldn't stop to talk about what happened over the weekend, or unless it was crime reduction, then that was what we did. We always talked about that. But I've really enjoyed the ability to meet the community, personalize my approach to this community, immerse myself in this community. That's the biggest difference that I found, and the fact that this community is so supportive. Caleb, I've never seen anything like this. Obviously, I was in Dallas for such a long time. Parts of the community in Dallas is very supportive, but this entire city seems to be very supportive, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yes, sir, and I will back that point. You're right. Victoria has a very special way of taking care of its heroes, and we are very pro law enforcement. We are very pro military,
Right.
and we like taking care of our heroes. And I will commend you. One of the things that I've noticed is, even though we haven't met yet, I see you out there. I've seen you hit the ground running. No grass grew underneath your feet. I very rarely have I seen an event pop up in town when I haven't seen you make an appearance. And you're right about Victoria. It's one of those towns where it's just big enough or small enough, depending on how you want to look at it, that everybody can know exactly who you are. And when you come in here and are honorable and make such a good impact as you've done so already, we are very quick to take you in, because we want to honor our heroes and those that lay their lives on the line to protect us all the time. And I feel blessed to have Victoria PD here because so many of the officers that I've had contact with have just been amazing individuals, and they're dedicated to what they do. And
Absolutely.
through my real estate career and company, I've had the opportunity and blessing to deal with a lot of these officers, and every one of them has just been cooler than the next one, and more. And they're selfless, they're honorable, and they do a dangerous job that often, nationwide doesn't get the support and the backing that it should. And so I do, Victoria, I am proud of you in that regard. You do a great job of taking care of your heroes and honoring their service. But that also has to be reciprocated, and you guys do a good job at that. And I appreciate that you came right into the community and got right out in the thick of it and started meeting people. Has there been anything that surprised you about Victoria?
Surprised me. I came from a department that wasn't quite as appreciated. I'm trying to find a nice way to say
Yes,
it,
sir.
right?
I think that was a good one.
And to come here and to see that support, on day one, and to be accepted into such a wonderful community, I really do feel accepted. I was back in Dallas this past weekend, and I'm telling my family, I'm like, I got to go home. Victoria's my home now, and I just feel comfortable here. I feel like I've been accepted. The officers work hard every day. I'm so proud of the work they do. We're asking a lot of them, and they show up every day. And I mentioned my officers many times, and one of the reasons I do go to as many events as I can is because I try to model that behavior that I want them to have, and we have to find ways to be more engaged in the community. We cannot be successful in our crime reduction goals and building trust and procedural justice if we are not immersed in this community, if we are not known for having the ability to approach us. We're very approachable. We need to be that.
Yes, sir.
And so I try to model that behavior so they understand what the expectation is. But I ask so much of them. I ask them to go out there day in and day out, reduce crime, always smile if you can. And that's a tough deal because not everybody wants to be a police officer nowadays.
Yes, sir.
And it is, even in a community where you're supported like we are, it is a tough job to have. However, I've been looking at our crime stats, and I'm telling you, these guys have been reducing crime like you and I believe.
Yes,
they
sir.
have been getting after it, and I'm so proud of them. I just can't say enough about how proud I am and how they respond, even though we're having trouble with retention. We're having trouble with recruiting, but we're busting our tails to get things done.
Yes, sir.
And that is the courage and pride that they have for our community.
Yes, sir. Well, a few things there. One is you're right. On a grand scale, why would anybody want to be a police officer right now? Because you guys are targeted nationwide. You're the target of media and a bunch of ungrateful people. And oftentimes, I would say it's not based on truth. It's based on narratives. Yeah. And people should spend 5 minutes and explore some of these things that they're out protesting before they do, because a lot of times they're based in emotion and not truth, and not backed by statistics. And I won't go off on my rabbit hole, but your point is taken in the fact that these are hard times, and it really takes an exceptional breed of person to want to, right now with everything going on, say, you know what, I'm going to step into that line of fire. Right. I'm going to step out there and take those heavies because it's in my heart to serve and to give back to this community. And as the son of a retired Texas Ranger in law enforcement, there were so many nights when we held our breath and just prayed for our dad to come home.
Right.
And we would get the call, and we always knew he was going to do something, because he'd call and just say, son, I'm going to work. Yeah. I love you. And we knew that meant a door was getting kicked in or an arrest warrant was being issued. And we just hoped and prayed that our dad came home. Right. And a lot of people, if you've never had somebody in the military or had somebody in law enforcement, that you really don't know if they're coming home that night. Right. And every day that they do is a blessing to your home, that you got your dad back or your spouse back. And we get desensitized to the stress and the toll that it takes on our officers to work these long hours, to see the things that they see, the confrontations, the wrecks, the people busted open on the side of the road. These are things that you get 5 minutes, you dust yourself off, and you go right to the next call and right to the next case. And then with all the immigration stuff, you guys are just pulled thin in every direction. And so your point is very well taken, and you know, and it is tough times. But your guys, I haven't heard one of them complain.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a single one of them complain. Oh, this is so tough. I need some time. They go to work and they handle business.
I tell you, my approach is that I tell them, yes, the national narrative is what it is. However, it's not here.
Yes, sir.
So keep that in mind, that we have a very supportive city manager, we have a very supportive city council, we have a very supportive community, and our business community supports us. We are in a good situation. Our community supports us, and we need to reciprocate that. We need to build trust. When we find ourselves in a situation where we're not getting that type of support, that's an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Right? And we don't need to disenfranchise any community, no matter how they feel about the police. We need to build that bridge, and we need to build that trust with that community, with that individual, so that we can have 100% support. But we can't just discard somebody because they don't feel the same way I feel about law enforcement. So I look at that as, thank goodness for the great opportunity that we have here with this community that supports us, but also, how about that opportunity to bridge that gap with that community that maybe feels disenfranchised?
Yes, sir.
So we got to police everyone. It's not an easy job, but we have so many opportunities to build trust, treat people with the dignity and respect they deserve. And I think we're in a good situation.
I think so too. Guys, sir, if you'll stick around real quick, we're going to take a message real fast from one of our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. They've got a cool event coming up that we're going to talk about right after this break. Stay tuned.
Since 1932, Wallach & Volk has been closing mortgages and doing it the right way. The reason why the Volks opened up a bank at the height of the Great Depression was because the bank needed to be opened at the height of the Great Depression. And it was good for the community at that time. A lot of the banks were going under. In order to keep that community sound and stable, it was something that they did. I think that says something about who Wallach & Volk was 85 years ago. And the only way you get to continue to do it is if you consistently do it great. And we plan on doing this for another 85 years.
All right, guys, welcome back. As you can tell, we've got a new guest. This is kind of to keep the chief and I between the bumpers, keep us moving forward like we're supposed to. So, young lady, if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Lauren Meaux. I'm the Community Affairs Manager with the Victoria Police Department. So I team up with the Community Engagement Unit to help them spearhead events and facilitate other organizations that may want the police department to partake. So
yeah. So basically, your job is to keep keep everybody in line and moving the right way.
Calendar. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a walking calendar.
Well, we're just not very good at some of those things. I have to put everything on my phone, or I just straight up forget. All right. So for those of us that don't know, or I'm new to this, what in the world is National Night Out?
National Night Out is an opportunity for the community to engage with our officers in a more positive way.
Usually when we're interacting, it's when you pulled me over because I'd run a stop sign or something like that. So this is a friendly opportunity to, through not doing something wrong, to meet you guys.
Right, and we're going to have our SWAT team out there. Some of them will be out there showing their gear off. We have the YMCA coming out. We have a foam party. We have, like I said, local youth. Entertainers coming out. It's just going to be a great opportunity to engage with all of our officers in a more positive way.
And the kick, it's actually two separate things. The kickoff party is just that kind of, hey, come meet us at Deleon Plaza, come to us, and what have you. And then that's the kickoff party. And then actual National Night Out, where you guys go out into the community, into neighborhoods with the police department and other organizations, and actually go on site to these locations. Am I getting that correct?
You're absolutely right. So the kickoff party is what it is. It's kicking off National Night Out. So that's September 25th, like I said, in Deleon Plaza. Then we have National Night Out. We, as first responders, we all get together. Our community engagement unit puts together a map of where everybody is assigned and what parties to attend. And then we visit a series of block parties throughout Victoria all in one night. And it's an opportunity, again, to engage with our neighborhoods and to hear what they have to say. Maybe they have something going on that they just need that face-to-face interaction. So it's an awesome time. We do a little breakout session in our parking lot, and we go out and have a great time.
Well, I think what's really neat about it is a lot of times for the kids. When I remember when my dad would come driving in the driveway in his cruiser and stuff, like, that was just the coolest thing in the world. When Dad came home in his patrol car and he'd flip on the lights for us, he'd usually talk on them. I mean, those were huge moments, and just, as you can tell, I'm very pro law enforcement, and I get emo and emotional over it because I have so much pride in that. But it's such a cool feeling, and sadly, a lot of times youth are their vision is perhaps skewed of you guys, and they get, like you talked about, it's a lot of times negatives are interaction. You get pulled over because you did something or what have you, and when you guys are just come rolling in, you got your lights on and you're talking to the kids, that one little visit can change an entire perspective, or change somebody who's maybe going down this road to go down this road, or maybe they decide they want to be law enforcement or something. And I think it's, the idea of it is so neat to go into the community and talk to the residents. You know, I'm sure the older ones, it's always well, everybody needs to slow down. You know, everybody, I noticed that at my associate when we went to mine, is everybody wanted to tell you guys to give us more tickets and slow us down. But it was just great to see the officers get to be people. And while they were in uniform and they were there representing you guys, they were also there as our neighbors. They were also there as our community, and that's, you guys are our community, you know. And it's not like you all are you put on this badge and you become something from another planet. No, you are us, you know. And it was a neat way to have you guys come and be a part of things and to see you, and that's why I just think this is so awesome. And it looks like it's official. Gary Moses is going to be there, so this is a real event. Real event. He'll be there, and so this is it. Can you take me just a little bit through more? I know we've hammered it a little bit, but I think this is neat, and I want people to know what they'll have at this opening ceremony and some additional stuff.
Let me just put my little spin on this, because you asked the question, what is it? And you know, you just gave me a great explanation, a great definition of why this is important. This is an opportunity for a positive interaction, and you don't know which kid you're going to be able to touch that ends up wanting to be a police officer. We're building that pipeline from itty bitty through college. And we're trying to recruit here locally, here at home. Our strategy is, why are we going to Houston? Why are we going to El Paso when we have such talent here in Victoria? And so if we can create that interaction, that positive interaction, that ability for people to see, like Lauren said, that we're human and that we're here to help, well, who knows what we're doing? And there's going to be a chief here in 20 years. It won't be me, but there'll be somebody here in 20 years that needs that person to be on the force. And hopefully we're creating that opportunity to build that relationship and bridge that gap that we're having, and always building trust with the community. And so we're looking forward to seeing all the different block parties throughout the city. And that's one of the key pieces of this. It's just not one big party.
Right.
It's each individual community taking the opportunity to showcase their community, to showcase their residents. And we're kind of in, I want to say, competition with the neighborhoods to say, all right, who's going to show up?
Yes,
Because
sir.
we're going to show up.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to be there. And one of the things I tell my officers all the time is, you can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. And so you have to be present. You have to go. You have to be in the community if you're going to build that trust, and they're going to see what you're about. And so I challenge each community, build your block party. We'll be there. We'll come to your party. We'll come and say hello, and you let us know what ails your community so that we can fix it.
Yes, sir. Well, now that you made it a competition, challenge accepted. Yes, sir. I like a good competition. We're Bronson Terrace, so remember that. I'm going to see what we can do to put us on the map. Is there anything, young lady, that I'm forgetting before we wrap this show up and move on down the road?
If you want to attend the National Night Out Block Party, just send your registration into victoriapd.com. It comes to the Community Engagement Unit. We'll get you on the map. We'll make sure we have our first responders out at your party. That includes the police department, DPS, the sheriff's office, the fire department. All local first responders partake in this, so it's a lot of fun, and that's October 5th. If you want to partake in September 25th in our National Night Out Kickoff Party, you can reach out to victoriapd.com, the Community Engagement Unit, at 361-485-3808.
Wonderful job, young ladies. Chief, am I forgetting anything, sir?
What she said.
Roger that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you've done so far. I look forward to seeing what you do in the future. Appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. Again, guys, support our law enforcement. They put it all out there for us every single day, and the thing we can do as a community is make sure they feel that love from us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, we'll see you at the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in to Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. Make sure you comment down below, like the post, share the post. It really helps the algorithms. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. And if you have an event coming on you want featured on Victoria Events, shoot us a message. We'd love to help you get the word out there. Lastly, make sure you support our sponsors. We could not do this show without them, so we're very grateful. Thanks so much, Victoria, and we'll see you at the next one.